I asked Lena to help me get Aries over the last wall of contact. She started by mirroring him. He ran, she ran. He stopped, she stopped. And then she went in for contact. Every time he went to leave, she went with him. After getting him to yield, Lena put the rope on him. The rope was there to help keep Aries from leaving. There is, of course, no physical way either of us could overpower him. But when used with the right timing, Lena could influence him so that he didn't just check out and leave. After offering to pet him with just her hand, Lena decided to use the rope as a bridge. We knew he accepted the rope, so she made a loop and stroked his face with it. This also had the added benefit of giving her the opportunity to make a halter. The halter gave her that little bit of extra control over Aries' nose, allowing her to finally stroke his face with her hand. You will notice as she does this, his feet are not moving. He is quite capable of moving right now, I assure you. This is a distinct change from how he started the session. He is now moving towards acceptance of touch. In later discussion, we decided what was happening was that right before she touched his forehead, he lost sight of her hand, as horses can't see what's directly in front of their face. So he was surprised by the touch. The hardest part with Mustangs is going back in after you've given a release. There is no guarantee that what just happened will happen again. So Lena touched and released and went in for another touch many, many times. The initial session took 2 hours and was tiring for both Lena and Aries. She brought him some water so he could rehydrate while she did the same. After giving Aries a couple of hours to soak in his new lesson, Lena went back in to touch him some more. It's very important that you repeat the lesson over and over so it gets cemented in their brain. Repetition is key. She again used the rope as a bridge, which seemed to work well. Things progressed much faster the second time. I have always said I believe Aries is a horse that once he learns something, he is pretty quick to keep the lesson. This doesn't mean that I'll be able to walk right up to him tomorrow, but with each session, the touch will come faster and faster. After petting Aries with his makeshift halter, Lena then gave him more freedom, i.e. more choice, and went to pet him with just the neck rope. Aries is quite aware of this increase in his freedom, and it's a testament to his new understanding that he stays. Now it was my turn. The day before, it took everything in me not to scream, "My turn!" But I knew it was important that Lena finish the lesson with him and really solidify getting touched.
Tug. There you go. Keep going until he really faces you. There you go.
Today, Aries still wasn't ready to just accept the hand right away, so I too used the rope as a bridge. Both Lena and I were pleasantly surprised at how quickly Aries let me pet him. Again, this is a testament to this horse's incredible intelligence and emerging trust.
Good, Katie. Now try it without that loop in your hand. Awesome. Awesome work. Yay! That was really cool. Went faster than I thought it would. Yeah. Just kind of that release.
Another interesting Mustang quirk is that getting them to move their feet is like erasing an Etch-a-Sketch. You could be starting back at square one. You may be standing in a different location, look slightly different, etc. So being able to come back in and touch after walking a bit is another huge step forward.
Respect again, and then there was that close call, you know? Yeah. And keep breathing with him if you can. You're so brave, Aries. Good. Okay, and then walk along. So I thought you'd want to take your glove off. This is a beautiful...
I was so proud of the oily dirt I had on my fingers. I could finally touch my Mustang and get dirty from doing it.
That's Aries dirt.
What a feeling.
FYI. From his
Aries
face.
dirt, man. Took 6 months to build it. Good boy. He's like, are you making fun of me?
Little Dakota. He has been a bit of a bugger lately about being haltered. So today I wanted to do some work with the halter and the rope. Dakota is such an easygoing guy that I forget that he still gets startled. One of the things he has to learn is that people are clumsy and jerky. He needs to learn the difference between movement that has intent and plain old human dorkiness. Rather than force his head around, I drape the halter over Dakota and let him work out for himself how he feels about it. Like any youngster, Dakota would rather not pay attention. I gently remind him to keep focused on me, and I rub his face with the halter. I wanted to see how Dakota's Liberty skills were doing since we haven't worked on them in a while. It took a few rounds, but he finally remembered he was supposed to disengage his hindquarters and face me. Both directions. On September 16th, Dakota will be heading to the adoption at the Napa Mustang Days. I hope he finds an adopter there. He is such a sweet, sweet guy and deserves a loving home. If anyone is interested in adopting him, please send me an email. My email address is posted at the end of every episode. Dakota is still a bit skittish about rope swinging and the rope being thrown over him. As I said earlier, there is movement and there is movement with intent. He needs to learn the difference. Some people call this desensitizing. I don't like to look at it as though I am dulling his senses or reactions. I just want him to know the difference between when I am asking him to move and when nothing is being asked of him. Here there is a definite change in his demeanor. He is no longer moving his feet. He is still a bit tense, but he isn't leaving. I joke that this is an intelligence test. I know so many domestic horses that just can't do this. On Saturday, Lena told me that Aries really values the connection. She said I have to connect with him before going in for a touch. So I make sure we are in sync by getting him to yield. He still didn't want my hand outright, so I used the loop as a quick bridge and got my hand on him pretty quickly. The goal now is to take the touching from his forehead to the rest of his body. Lena had a trainer tell her once it was like smearing peanut butter on bread. You push the peanut butter back along their body. So far, he lets me touch his forehead. Today, I was going to try for some other parts of his face, but I always start with the forehead as home base. As I rub around to different parts of his face, the image he sees in his eyes is changing. So each new location will require some getting used to for him, and he will resist. But as long as I go back to home base, he should still progress. What's really fascinating is to watch the changes in his body. He leans away, then he leans forward, relaxes, stiffens, relaxes again. Right here, he takes a nice deep breath while I'm still touching him. Quite cool. Erasing the Etch-a-Sketch. This is sort of how I judge how the session went. As I mentioned earlier, Aries is fully aware when he is given more freedom. It amazes me that he stays, even when he knows full well that he can leave. I test the new places that I can rub on his face. Rubbing the forehead releases endorphins for horses, so he should be feeling pretty good by the end of these sessions.